Hermanson Company was started by my dad in 1979. Today, our fabrication capabilities are right around 40,000 square feet with all the shops we have and 700 employees. My dad's always been in the sheet metal industry, so when I was 13 years old, in the summers, I would go and I'd sweep floors at the sheet metal shops that he worked at. I served an apprenticeship, and then about 6 months before I was done with my apprenticeship, my dad started the business. And then I asked him if I could come to work for him, and he agreed yes, so the rest is history. Then in 2000, I got an opportunity to buy the company from my dad, myself, and a handful of partners. We transitioned in 2000 to the piping and plumbing side. It's about equal amounts. Sheet metal and fitting work. 40% sheet metal, 30% fitting, and 25% plumbing. It's fairly equal. We're actually right in the process of putting in some of the state-of-the-art fabrication equipment right now. We're upgrading to all the latest technology and equipment.
3 years ago, we had the University of Washington come in, and they've done a case study on lean tools in a manufacturing and fabrication facility. Through that process, some inefficiencies were highlighted, and we went and determined that we needed to make some improvements in our shop. So I went through 10 to 15 different fabrication shops around the United States, looked at equipment, looked at shop flows, looked at the way they organized equipment and information going to the shop. And what we determined was it was time for us to update our equipment. The key drivers are efficiency and capacity. So we took this opportunity to clean the canvas and physically re-lay out and organize our shop. We're anticipating that we're going to be able to increase our volume through the shop by 50%. This was a 3-year planning and process to figure out. What that done was allow us to put new equipment in new locations, get it up, running, tested, and commissioning before we demoed the old equipment. It's very congested. It's not that easy, but it allowed us to keep at full our limited capacity through this change out and phasing of new equipment.
It's a big deal. It's a huge project because we're moving everything in a straight line. All the raw materials are received on the north side of the building and they travel to the south side of the building. But right now, we bring a lot of raw materials into the middle of the shop or the back of the shop, and it's really disruptive, so we should clean a lot of that up. Raw goods on one side, finished on the other side.
We put a lot of emphasis on training and education of the people that work in Hermanson. We have something called the Herman University. Our goal there is to help them reach their full potential. They can start out, material handling or sweeping floors, and we'll train them how to be a president of a company. The generation that's coming through the industry right now is eager to learn, faster than probably we've ever seen before. And so what we want to be able to do is provide that opportunity. We kind of take the guesswork out of the different training programs. We show them the different levels. You're a journeyman, you want to be a foreman. Well, here's the training classes you need to go through to help you be a great foreman. People feel there's an opportunity, and we're here to help them be as successful as they can be.
I'm the main communication with the shop and the guys out in the field. I'm kind of involved with everybody. I have a bunch of very good leaders out there on the floor, so I have complete confidence in everything that they're doing. I'm not a micromanager by any means. This is your department, you run it. And they all have to work together as a team, but I'm very involved in logistics. So I'm the guy that kind of puts the arms around the whole thing and makes sure that everything gets to where it's supposed to when it's supposed to get there.
So we do quite a bit of multi-trade rack and also modular fabrication. We would bring the trades here, whether they work directly for us as a sub, or they're a sub to the general contractor, and we just coordinate the efforts in the task. They would come here, and in most cases we would mock up a section of a multi-trade rack, and the architects, the engineers, the facility folks would come here and approve that before we went into full production.
The very first one that we ever did, there was the original welding of the structural steel. Then the next step was to put on all the ductwork for the HVAC. Then the next step was adding the plumbing, and then an electrical, and literally we would move these 40 footers over one step every night, constantly bringing in a new one to be fabbed within a day. And every night a finished one was wrapped with boat wrap, put on a trailer inside of here and driven away every day.
One of the more interesting parts of the work we do is the uniqueness of the type of buildings. So you can do 5 different high-rise shell and core office buildings, and we've done a number of them here in the Seattle area. And every one of them is a unique building. The twist to the architectural construction for how the facade is built and what the percent glazing is and how we incorporate in working with the code requirements to actually get the buildings built. Then taking that into the types of mechanical systems that are applied into the buildings, trying to understand all the little nuances of the structure and how it's going to work with the people that are going to be occupying it later to keep them comfortable and happy. The ability to be able to use BIM, be able to build it first in a virtual space and then move it forward in the actual construction has saved us countless hours and conflicts and issues and problems out in the field. We do work with SMACNA standards going through on the duct construction side. We have a lot of our local authorities that will have questions on how the duct is going to be constructed, what are going to be our attachment methods for the joints, how we're going to attach up to the structure and hang and support, all of which SMACNA is able to help us to get a good quality product out there in the field.
My passion is having a team that works together. I mean, that's what I enjoy the most about this, getting people to talk to each other and feel like they're part of a team. I try to keep the foreman down on the floor, connected. We need to have the same plan, walk in the same steps, and just give the same message to the workers.
We start every meeting with a safety moment. So safety is at the top of mind in our company. I love knowing that people, the way they start out in the morning and the way they go home at night.
We never stop innovating. We never stop trying new things. We don't grow stagnant. We're constantly looking for a better, quicker, more efficient way with safety in mind.
In 40 years, we've been involved with a lot, whether it's a healthcare or an office building or an industrial complex. We have been involved with so many buildings in this town. They're everywhere. If we weren't involved with the original construction, we're involved with the tenant improvement. There's a lot of pride everywhere you drive around Seattle, and everywhere you look, we've been involved with something.